G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Super Rugby Round 2, Highlanders versus Crusaders. This was a much closer game than the score. Highlanders was well in the game until late in the second half when Will Jordan once again pretty much single-handedly pulled the Crusaders out of the ditch and, pulled away from the Highlanders. Really turned the game around for the Crusaders. The Highlanders put up a really good effort, especially the start 15 minutes where the Highlanders were actually leading, and then Crusaders slowly hung in there, and then eventually some brilliance from Will Jordan pulled the team away. The final score 19 points to 37. There was 4 tries scored for the Crusaders, 1 for the Highlanders. A lot of penalty points for Highlanders. Mitch Hunt really played well, put those penalty kicks through. There were some pretty difficult ones as well, so he was able to nail those. And also Mitch Hunt played much better this week than last week. He was able to take on the line, making a few breaks. He almost scored a try, and his combination with Aaron Smith really looks smoother, a lot smoother. It seems to be on the same pace now. And it was overall much better performance by the Highlanders, in my opinion. The Crusaders, maybe the 4-hour bus trip starting to get to them. They came out of this game looking really tired and looking shell-shocked. And the Highlanders was basically just pounding the Crusaders, and the Crusaders just throwing away penalties left and right. Within 15 minutes of the game, you can see 15 minutes, Crusaders have already given out 4 penalties in 15 minutes. And the referee gave Crusaders a warning that if any more penalties, people are gonna go to the bin. And Highlanders took a penalty from that, and after that, the Crusaders settled down and was able to slowly build a comeback. In my opinion, I thought that was a bad decision from the Highlanders when the Crusaders were being warned for a penalty. Clearly, they're out of their rhythm. Clearly, they're not in the game at that point. I thought the Highlanders could have pressured Crusaders a bit more and potentially got that yellow card or a second try instead of 3 points. It's almost like the Highlanders came out and were doing too good. They were just doing too good, and they couldn't believe that they were performing so well against the Crusaders, and they got a little bit they wasn't really sure what they're supposed to do at that point. So they opted for taking points instead of actually trying to pressure the advantage and try to take the tries. So overall, the stats are pretty close. 372 meters, 375 for the Crusaders. For turnovers 10 to 14. So the turnovers at halftime was an interesting stat, I thought. 3 turnovers conceded for Highlanders and 7 turnovers conceded for the Crusaders. So Highlanders were really putting up those turnovers quite well. Tackles overall 143 to Crusaders 168. And I think at halftime, Crusaders was 89 tackles and the Highlanders were only 61. So big difference at halftime. And the Crusaders managed to close that up in the second half. The penalty count at halftime was actually 5 to 6. So Crusaders considered 4 penalties in the first 15 minutes and only 2 in the remainder of the match. Whilst the Highlanders considered 5 for the entire first half. Pretty consistent overall. So yeah, this was one of those games I felt like maybe the Highlanders had an opportunity to beat the Crusaders, and just a little bit of mental missteps. And again, I think the Highlanders could definitely pressure it a little bit more and got that penalty, yellow card, potentially got that second try on the board before Crusaders could really stage a comeback. And then, as you can see here, the Crusaders, once the gas was off the pedal, Crusaders were able to just score 2 tries back to back to catch up with the Highlanders lead. So yeah, this was an entertaining game. A lot of back and forth. The points switched around back and forth many times, and all the way till late in the second half before Crusaders were able to pull away. So yeah, let's go from the start. So right away, the game was kind of the Crusaders were being penalized quite a bit. A lot of unforced errors. So the Highlanders were able to get in the front foot right away, getting a penalty at 4 minutes into the game. The Highlanders. And then built that penalty into a try on the 8th minute with Gilbert. So this try was basically a beautiful set piece. They had a scrum near the sideline. The ball comes out, and they just had like 3 or 4 decoy runners like set up deep, and they all ran out. And they all kind of like push up to the Crusaders' defensive line. And Gilbert was the ball recipient. Just found this nice little gap, slice through, went in for the first try for the Highlanders. It looked really easy. Looked almost like the Crusaders were asleep. Just easy set piece play. Try time for the Highlanders. 8 minutes in. And then the Highlanders would continue with the pressure. Crusaders were giving them more penalties. And then on the 13th minute, referee gave a warning to the Crusaders, saying any more penalties, you're going to get yellow card. And Highlanders went, okay, instead of, Arthur could pressure for a red yellow card, Highlanders took the penalty and took the 3. And then after that, Crusaders really settled their nerves, start kicking back into the gear. Several Reese really started to just swing for the fences for the Crusaders a little bit. There was quite a few really good kicking from Several Reese. There was some really good crossfield kicks to Several Reese as well. And it was just Several Reese really just kind of felt that his team needed the lift, and took it upon himself to lift. So the first try he scored, Crusaders were just outside of Highlanders' try line, in front of try line. There was a penalty, and Several Reese just took a quick tap and just went straight in himself. So that was quite easy. And then the second try, Several Reese scored on 28th minute. There was a nice crossfield kick to him. He managed to recover. There was there was a few crossfield kicks that he didn't recover, and then eventually the Crusaders set up for a penalty, and then they just spread the ball out wide, and Several Reese was just open out wide with space. Goes in for a second try for the Crusaders. Halftime, the Crusaders was leading. What was halftime score? Was leading 17 points to 16. So yeah, so it was just the Crusaders was losing. Was losing 17 points to 16. So Mitchell Hung gets the last penalty on the 38th minute, putting the Highlanders up to the lead. I think, was it leading by 1? Was it? I think it was 14 points to 16 actually. The Crusaders were leading 14 points to 16 at halftime. 14 points to 13 at halftime. And then anyway, second half started. Crusaders came out again, really kind of still back and forward. A lot of penalties going back forward. Crusader gets ahead with the first penalty by a book, 41st minute. Mitchie Hung gets a penalty back. 3 minutes left to put the Highlanders back in front. And then on the 52nd minute, the Crusaders gets back in front with another penalty. And then it's kind of just back and forth a little bit. Both teams weren't able to put much pressure. And finally, on the 66th minute, Will Jordan so Crusaders made a nice little break. Will Jordan was on the support on the inside. He gets the ball from his winger. He runs. He gets really close to try line. A couple Highlanders players try to grab him. They grabbed him by the jersey essentially, and Will Jordan just kept the legs pumping, crashed over anyway. Whilst there was a guy dangling on his jersey. Sheer determination got him across the line. Crusaders finally able to emphatically claim a try ahead of Highlanders, and then from that point onwards, the Crusaders really turned the momentum around. Highlanders were just kind of not able to, still kind of the same kind of. The Highlanders didn't get worse, but Highlanders just stayed at the same level, whereas the Crusaders clearly kicked up a level, and then Will Jordan once again kicked a 50-22 very late in the game, just getting the Crusaders another attacking opportunity inside the Highlanders 22. And then eventually on the 75th minute, the Crusader Williams crashes over for a try after pounding the Highlanders try line repeatedly. There was just getting really close, and then there was just a lot of short balls, a lot of quick balls. Eventually, Williams, this one gets the ball, he goes in, had the goalpost cover him a little bit on the right hand side, so he was just going over the try on the right hand side of the goalpost, so that I guess the person the defense was kind of obstructed a little bit, so they can't really cover him from the other side. So he just powered through with only one defender on him for a try on the 75th minute. Final score, 19 points to 37. Another easy win for the Crusaders. I would say not easy win, another win for the Crusaders. Not looking as good as you might expect from the Crusaders. Maybe only the last 20 minutes looked really dominating. For most of the game, the Crusaders did not look like it was 50-50. Did not look like they were gonna take this one. So yeah, if you watch this game, guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're a Highlanders fan. I'm happy to see that. Let me know if you're a Crusaders fan. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I really do appreciate it. See you a bit later for more reviews. Cheers.